Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Daniel with POVPOOL, and my next guest is Dynamite Darren Appleton. He is a three-time world champion, 8, 9, 10 ball player. He's a World Games gold medalist, 7-time Mosconi Cup champion, and a 2-time U.S. Open 9-ball champion. Not to mention a BCA, Billiard Congress of America Hall of Famer. Dynamite Darren Appleton. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for coming on the show to say hi to our viewers.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel, for having me on your show, and very impressed with your memory there, pulling out the titles.
Well, you know, I'm a fan. In fact,
that's good. But there's a lot of guys who get it wrong. They're like probably they don't get some of the title names right. So I was pretty impressed, sir.
Thank you very much. You know, speaking of all those titles, can you kind of like go back to your like the very first big title for you? What that experience was like? Was it life changing? What was that?
Yeah, it's a weird one, really, because I have like two chapters in my career. Because I started as a English 8-ball player, which is like reds and yellows. If you come to the UK, you see them in the pub. So it's like a small table game with very small balls. And I turned professional at 19. I had a couple of big wins as an amateur. Won the National Amateur Championship. So I was probably like 17, 18 when I sort of knew that I'd be a pool player for a living. And then I won my first professional event at 19 years old, the first professional event I played in. So then I sort of knew straight away that this is for me. I played English 8-ball till the age of 30 years old, so I had like a good 10-year career playing English 8-ball, but the rewards weren't really there. It wasn't like a global game like American pool. It didn't get the television time, and we American pool, I was always sort of gripped by it because Matchroom did the Mosconi Cup, the World Masters, and at the time they did something called the World Pool League. So. And they also run the World 9-ball Championship. So I'm thinking I wouldn't mind getting into American pool, even when I was playing English 8-ball. So around 2005, 2006, that's when Kevin Trudeau come along with the IPT tour,
right?
Which was like a multi-million-dollar tour playing 8-ball. So when I read about that, I thought, maybe I'm going to apply to get on the tour, because back then you had to apply to get on the IPT. So me and a couple of other guys who like Mick Hill, Carl Boys, Chris Melling, we applied to play on the IPT and we got accepted to play. So obviously we played on the IPT. We did really well, especially me and Mick Hill. We was ranked number 12 or 13 after like the first 2 tournaments, and then unfortunately it all collapsed. So after that, it was like devastating, really, because we was living the dream there for about 6 months, thinking this could be like life-changing money.
I think everybody was thinking that, weren't they?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, just from the 2 events I played, I finished 7th and 22nd, and I made $60,000.
Yeah.
So like, obviously, once I got used to the equipment more and the size of the balls and the cues, I think I would have done some serious damage playing 8-ball, because that's my strongest game. So I was hoping for like a 2007 season and then a 2008 season. So I'm thinking, right, I can do some serious damage here. So anyway, obviously that was devastating. So then I had a decision to go back to English 8-ball and just sort of like potter around, really, making like decent money, but never going to go any further, or really give the American pool a go playing rotation games like 9-ball and 10-ball. So yeah, that's what I did in 2006. Back into 2006, I started practicing 9-ball and all that stuff. And then, so obviously after having a successful English 8-ball career, I never really look back at my English 8-ball career and think that this win changed me. Even though I won a lot of titles of that game, there was never really any reward for it. You know what I mean? So when I come to American pool, I knew that if I could make it big time, then there's some rewards there, and you get global recognition. So in 2007, I decided to spend a lot of time in the Philippines, because I'm thinking I've got a lot to learn at this game. I quickly realised that the game, because when I used to watch it on television, I used to think, this is quite easy, this game. because like the pockets are big, coming from English pool and like a little bit of snooker background. So, but obviously it's so. But when you start playing against the really good players, you realise that it's a much tougher game than what you think. And I thought I have a hell of a lot to learn. So I spent a lot of time in the Philippines in 2007. And that basically held me in good stead. Did all my seasoning really. I was playing against all the great players over there for money. So when 2008 come around, that is when I give it a good like. That's where I really played on the circuit full time, like playing all the tournaments. And my big breakthrough was winning the World 10-Ball Championship in 2008 in the Philippines. Because at the time I didn't have a lot of money. And the first prize was $100,000, and it was live on TV, and obviously in the Philippines, and I beat Wu Chia-Ching in the final. So that was a massive winner, a massive monkey off my back, and just really give me the confidence. Then it just gave me the confidence, like, to kick on and really go forward. And then after all that, to be honest, after 2008 and all the success I've had since, it's all like a little bit of a blur. So like the one what really sticks out is the World 10-Ball, because that is one what really kick-started my career, and that is when people started to recognise me
in the Philippines.
Yeah. When I won the World 10-Ball, that was that was the first ever World 10-Ball Championship. So it was nice.
Yeah. So what was it like coming back home to the boys? You know what I mean? After all this, I mean, your best friends in the British pool scene or the European pool scene, they must have been really chuffed for you, really happy for you.
Well, I ended up staying about an extra week in the Philippines because we just parted. Because I had a couple of friends there anyway, so we just parted for a week after I won the tournament. It was crazy, and then obviously when I come back to the UK, we had they put a party on for me, my family and friends.
That's nice.
So yeah, I mean that was probably like the most I've ever celebrated a win, because like it's English 8-Ball. Even though I sort of dominated the game, I never won the World Championship playing English 8-Ball. I lost in the final a couple of times. I lost in the semi-finals, quarter-finals, but I just couldn't get over the line to win the big one at English 8-Ball. So to win my first World Championship playing American pool at my first attempt really was like crazy. And obviously the prize money was big, you know what I mean? $100,000.
Yeah, exactly. You went back actually, about 2 years ago or a year ago to play English 8-Ball, Reds and Yellows. Weren't you playing with some of your buddies, Jason and Chris Melling, Carl Boyes? I think he was in, wasn't it? Yeah. It was called the Premier League or something.
Yeah, it was called the Premier Pool Series.
Premier Pool Series.
What happened is
that was quite a nice production, actually. I enjoyed watching it.
It was good because like 2 or 3 years ago, I wasn't really playing any pool. I was sort of like, after I broke up with my wife and then my mother got diagnosed with cancer, terminal cancer. I basically lost my love for the game anyway, and I just sort of went through some mental issues there, and obviously looking after my mother, and obviously a lot of stuff off the table. So I sort of stopped. I was taking 3 or 4 months away from the game at a time without even picking my cue up. So a guy called Lee Kendall, who run the Premier Pool Series, he sort of asked me if I wanted to play, but I hadn't played English 8-Ball for like probably a good 10 years. Not even picked up a cue, so it's a completely different game. Right. It's like playing with marbles, and the cues they play with like 7 and 8 millimeter tips. So obviously the balls are really small. So I thought, well, obviously I'm not traveling, and the venue was only like 2 hours drive away from where I live. Yeah. So I thought, let's give it a go just for a bit of fun. And I actually did pretty good. Like in the grand final, I got to the final. Yeah. So
I enjoyed it. I was watching it. It was a free stream, great production. And I actually thought it was going to be good for the English 8-Ball scene out there. But
yeah, I mean, it's like weird, really. I mean, it's
maybe it'll come back, or what's going on with that?
I think what happened is that they're probably again like the players. I think it's actually not even going ahead now. It's like even if this pandemic didn't happen, but it was like more like. I think the downfall for the tournament is that they kept having it in the same pool room. And then, like, secondly, it was expensive to enter, and obviously there's that many tournaments in the UK. There's a lot of tournaments. There's a lot of tournaments in the UK. So, and like a lot of players work, you know what I mean? So it's hard to really pick and choose your tournaments. So I think what happened is that a lot of the guys started dropping off a little bit because they realised that they wasn't good enough to compete at that level. And then, and then I think there was a few politics and people get bitter and jealous and all that stuff. So that there was some arguments there and all that stuff. So I mean, it's a shame, really. But what I will say is that it gets televised a lot more than what it's ever been televised, English 8-ball. But still, they don't have that prize money yet. But there's a lot of tournaments, a lot of television tournaments, but average prize money maybe like $3,000-4,000 to the winner. So it's still not great, but it is getting better. But what I will say is that there's a lot of big money games at English 8-ball. Like there's people playing for like $40,000-50,000.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's.
So I even thought about going back to English 8-ball. This was around 2018, and like playing these money games and
I
playing
can't blame you
because it's on your doorstep. You know what I mean? But then the flip side is that obviously because I was taking a long time away from American pool, I'm thinking, I start to miss it a little bit, and then I start thinking about my sponsors because if I don't get back playing, I'm going to lose my sponsors. So and then obviously I definitely made the right decision coming back to American pool full time.
Well, good. I'm sure American pool fans are happy to hear about that. But
maybe some of them.
So speaking of good productions, actually, you headed up a really good production a couple of years ago, the WPS World Pool Series, and you guys had regular tournaments out of Steinway Billiards in New York. Any chance of bringing that back, or also not, the COVID thing notwithstanding, obviously, but
it's a tough one, really. I mean,
how did you feel doing the WPS?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the future it could be something, but I started it in 2017. Yeah, 2017. So I was sort of putting it all together in 2016 when my life was pretty good, really. Yeah. Still living in America, all that stuff. And then we started in 2017. The first event was very successful. And then we got Unilad involved, like the biggest social media page in the world. I mean, it was crazy. So they're like streaming it for us. So we was open. So we was taking a gamble the first year. We were paying a lot of money out for the production and everything else, the staff. We were getting all the best people there, like Ted Lerner, all those guys, Michaela Tab. So we had good people working for us. Like we had commentators like Nick Varner. So we were trying to put the best production on as we can in a pool room, let's say. And Unilad was involved. So we was hoping that after the first year, Unilad would be able to get us advertisers and sponsors for the second year. So unfortunately, that didn't quite happen. So the second year, we had to go to pay per view just to break even, really, even losing money. Obviously, as you know, it's tough to run tournaments, and when you're doing like a series of tournaments, like 4 tournaments a year, it really become a full-time job. And then obviously around 2017, 2018, I started to have a lot of personal stuff going on. So it was hard to really maintain it and keep on top of it. Didn't quite have the resources like Matchroom do, for example, otherwise it would have been very doable. Yeah. And then you're hoping for that big break, that big sponsor, what comes along and helps you out big time. Because I really do think we had a great format. The tournaments were great, and a good. I mean, we had like a lot of top players there. So it was disappointing that after 2018 we just couldn't sustain it or really continue with it. Really, we couldn't justify losing money again. So, and then obviously I had my personal problems, and then like my manager who was running it for me, she's like worked for a big poker site, so she was busy with that job. So I thought I'm just going to give it a rest because it was difficult to get the players to come to New York, especially the American players. So obviously, in hindsight, we probably should have moved the venues around, maybe even had some in Europe. So I think if I do it again in the future, I would definitely start it off in Europe because I know I'm guaranteed to get the numbers in Europe. Like I'll like guarantee 200 players in Europe.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, like the last 3 or 4 tournaments at Steinway, I was only getting like 40 players. You know what I mean? Which was very disappointing.
No, I know.
And like and like 30 of those players was like foreign players, like
I
from
know,
different
right?
countries.
All friends of yours, yeah.
Yeah, basically all the Europeans and the Filipinos.
Well, that's actually something that's very impressive. And by the way, I want to say I have a lot of respect for you for doing it because
I enjoyed it.
You know,
even though it was tough, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, because there's so much complacency in the pool billiard scene. You know that you know, I admire the people that get up and take the bull by the horns and just run with it. You know what I mean? And that's what you did. You conceived the whole thing yourself. You got the right people involved, and you know what I mean. You did a great thing, and there was some.
Yeah, I think
there was some historic
close to pulling it off. I mean, if Unilad would have backed up their end of it and promised what they promised us, provided what they promised us, because they're saying they'll be able to get us advertisers and big sponsors. And if that would have happened, I really do believe, because I wanted to run it like a professional tour, like golf and snooker, where you had to earn your tour card, and if your ranking wasn't good, you like drop off the tour, and then I was planning on doing like a qualifying school to try and get back on the tour. So I wanted it to be a proper professional tour, like tennis and golf, snooker, where like you can't just pay your money to come and play in the main event. You can play in the qualifiers to earn your spot, but have a proper tour card. You know what I mean? Because in pool, we still don't have a proper tour. We still don't have a proper professional tour, which is very disappointing. When you think of pool as a global sport like we are, I mean, it's massive. There's a massive market out there for pool, but we just need the right people to grab it by the throat.
Yeah.
And
well, hopefully,
need the right people to back us.
Hopefully, in retrospect, your experience will pay off in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, it's something I would definitely be interested in again in the future, but doing it full time in the short term, I'd probably say no. But I would like to do at least one event a year. One event a year is like doable. But when you're trying to play as a professional, full-time professional player and try and compete at a top level, and then also try and be a promoter as well, like running 4 or 5 tournaments a year is very, very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a very few people in history that were able to do stuff like Alan Hopkins. You know what I mean? For example.
Yeah.
So,
but I think even Alan Hopkins, I think obviously with the Expo, I think even his game started to drop.
Yeah.
When he started getting more involved, and then Charlie Williams with his stuff, his game started to drop because you just don't have the time to practice, and you just don't feel like practicing.
Yes, it's true.
And when you're at the tournament itself, I mean, you're not even focused on playing. You're just worried about everything else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're spinning too many plates, as it were.
Yeah, and if you want to compete at a very, very top level, you've got to be focused on one thing.
Yeah, that's true. So speaking of which, Darren, you know, with all this, you know, first of all, you know, my deepest sympathies for your loss of your mother. I think you did the right thing. You're showing up for your family. And I know you're showing up for your family today, taking care of Dad. And that's good. We've got this pandemic going on. We're all stuck at home. But you're still managing to play pool, correct?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I managed to get this room. I managed to purchase this it's like an office space last November. Because before that I was traveling like 20-30 miles a day to a pool room, and the pool room's like looking like it's going to go under anyway. This was like 6 months ago, so I decided to take my table out of there, which is my diamond table, and I started looking for a space very close to my home. And I managed to get this place, got it at the perfect time, obviously November, and obviously we went in lockdown in March, so just very fortunate that I got the room when I did. Otherwise, I would have been 3 or 4 months in now. We out hitting a ball. So I've been very lucky that I've been able to play. I've been doing a lot of stuff online with my YouTube page. Been doing a lot of online coaching, doing these ghost challenges. So just keeping busy. And then obviously besides pool, now we're allowed to go out more like for exercise. So we're allowed to do things like fishing now. So I'm really into my fishing. So a little bit like Shane Van Bonin. So I'm like an hardcore fisherman also. So I've been going fishing quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, just, and I've even started doing some gardening, which I didn't think I'd ever do in my life. So just keeping busy,
gardening.
really.
I have several friends that have been gardening now because of this whole
I'm the same.
quarantine.
I think it's because everyone's looking for something to do.
Oh my
so
God! Tell me about it.
And most people just they sort of just abuse their garden. They just think, oh, I'll do it another time. Where now they don't have an excuse and they sort of want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they have to learn how to do it right because when it starts to fall apart, then they're like, oh.
And it's pretty fun, you know what I mean? It's like when you get into it and you can see the results, you start to enjoy it more.
Yeah. It is quite rewarding. Well, that's good. So you've got an office space. You're playing. I have been noticing. I think whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, I've seen some posts. You've been doing some very elaborate drills, and that's really cool to watch. Especially, it's cool to watch you run them out. And it's definitely inspiring. You actually made a video a few years ago, though, didn't you? With was it with Justin?
Yeah, Justin Collett from Tar and Andrew Cleary. We did it. We did the.
And I thought that was
practice.
That was a great video.
The perfect
I watched
practice 1 and 2. It was good. So the first time I went to Vegas, and then the second time they come to my house in Pennsylvania at the time.
Yeah.
So so I've always been into the teaching side of the game, but obviously the last 2 or 3 years I've been doing a lot more coaching. So when I come to America, I'll do clinics and stuff like that, and then this is the main reason why I got this office space here was for teaching. So I was fully booked up. Like I was doing a lot of teaching.
Okay.
I had people traveling from all over Europe for like coming to coaching, and then I was fully booked. Like when I was at home, I was fully booked in like March, April, and May. Yeah. But obviously, I've had to cancel all those. So I've just been doing stuff online and just keeping busy as much as possible.
Well, good. I hope maybe you can put some of your time into it, and maybe you can convert that into some sort of income for yourself. Because
it's been pretty good. I can't complain.
Yeah, because I think.
YouTube channel was more like I always wanted to build my YouTube channel up, and obviously the initial month or so when the lockdown started, I was putting like 2 or 3 videos up there a week. Yeah. And what I was doing is trying to categorize them. So like there's like an intermediate drill, a professional drill, and then like let's say a personal drill, and then I'd do like a Q tip of the week also where. I'd like demonstrate what I'm doing for like a particular shot. So just trying to give something back to the guys and the public really that don't have access to the table. So they've got something to watch. And so I sort of enjoyed that. And then the person who was helping me with the page, she's done a really good job. So she made it look a little bit more professional with the with like the cool hat she's put on there, like doing the spins on the cue ball and putting all the sponsors' logos
very nice,
on
very nice thumbnails as well.
Yeah, all that stuff. So that's credit to my website manager, let's say.
Okay.
So I'm useless with technology.
So, well, yeah, but it doesn't look like it. I tell you that
I'm okay. I can get by, but obviously compared to you guys, you can give me this. You can probably give me the 5-ball.
Well, yeah, but you're a world champion. You're a Hall of Famer. People want to work for you. They want to lift you up. So and you're allowing them to do it because like looking at your YouTube channel, it's very good. And now, what are your main portals of promotion now? You've got the YouTube channel. You've got your Facebook page, and did you say there was Instagram as well?
Yeah, I've got Instagram, Twitter, but I mainly used Facebook, Instagram, my YouTube channel, which is but my name on the YouTube channel is Great White 76. The reason why for Great White, because I set the YouTube channel up like about 12 years ago, and when I was spending a lot of time in the Philippines and playing the money games, they nicknamed me the Great White. because I was only like the white person there playing these big money games.
Yeah.
So I was doing really well. So they just nicknamed me the Great White. So that's why. So that's the name of the YouTube page, Great White 76.
Cool.
But I think if you type in Darren Appleton, it also comes up also. So yeah, just doing a lot of stuff online. Obviously doing my online coaching and just keeping busy that way, and doing stuff for my sponsors, like doing like demonstrating shots or explaining why like the sniper tip does this. Because I basically play with a sniper tip, which is from Tiger. So I do like stuff for him, and then I do stuff for Predator, and I do like a drill of the month for my sponsor in Australia, where for their league players, because they have like a diamond pull league. So I'm like a patron for that league. So I sort of set them all up drills. And so it's like sort of like just giving them targets and for certain levels of the players. So just keeping busy, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. What I was going to ask you about, practice and your practice regimen. You've got these drills videos, and I see you made a DVD a few years ago. You probably stress a lot more importance on drills than a lot of other players out there. Is that correct?
Not too sure. I think it's more because I enjoy doing them and putting them out there. I think the reason why, I think if I wasn't to put them out there, like put them onto YouTube or Facebook, I wouldn't do as many. So I like it when even when I do like an easy drill, but obviously I'm doing it for like the amateurs, right? Like the beginners or the intermediate players. So that's even fun as well, because I can explain what I'm doing while I'm playing. Because like the drill to me is quite easy, right? So I don't have to worry about focusing, because I know so that I can speak what I'm playing on every shot. But when I do a really tough drill, I don't speak at all, because obviously it might take like 2 hours, 3 hours to complete this drill. But that's the beauty of doing drills, is that it keeps you focused. It adds pressure to your practice routine, because because I'm one of them people, I will not stop until I complete the drill.
You're determined.
Yeah, so there's some days where I've been here like till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It took me like 5 or 6 hours to complete a drill.
Wow.
But that's good, because you're pushing yourself. Because like some of the drills I do are brutal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if I wasn't going to put them onto like the social media pages, I probably wouldn't even bother with the drills as much. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put as much effort into them. So yeah, I do like the drills, but it depends on what environment I'm in and where I am. So if I'm going to practice alone, I'll probably just start off like just hitting a few balls around, and then I practice a few break shots, and then I do a few drills, and then after that I just play against a ghost, and then just try and mix it up every day. One day I play straight pool, and then the next day I play like 15 ball rotation or 10 ball, 9 ball. So just mixing it up and just keeping it interesting. Where if you're doing the same thing every day, it becomes very boring. And when you've been playing pool a long time, it's very hard to practice. So I have to find myself little goals to put the hours in. You know what I mean?
Right. So you still have to maintain discipline, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I have to push myself to practice. Like there's some days where I'm sort of forcing myself to practice. But at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, that's what you got to do. Yeah. And so you got to treat it like a job, even though I love it. I love competing, but I don't love the practice anymore. You know what I mean? Sure. So it's like a regular job. It's like you going to your regular job every day, or anyone. Right. I mean, some days you enjoy it, and other days it's like a grind. You know what I mean? So and pool is no different. But luckily, I can do something where I'm working for myself, and it's something what I started off as a passion and as a hobby. So to be able to do it for a living, I have to remind myself that I'm very lucky.
So what about these online competitions now that have been sort of like springing up here and there? Do you feel like that's different for you mentally, or at least, you know, from the standpoint of pressure? You know, do you feel like you're actually in a competition? Because I know you've gotten into a couple of the playing the Ghost tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't actually played a tournament yet. I've played that Moscone Cup style event, the Queue It Up Cup. So I guess that's like a tournament. So that's it's like a weird pressure because you're in a room on your own in a completely a different country, but there's like maybe 600-700 people watching online. So it's really hard to get your head around it. So it adds a little bit of pressure in a different way. It's like a weird feeling where if I play a tournament, let's say in Las Vegas, right? And you know there's going to be people there watching like in person. There's people there watching in person. Yeah. And it could be on television live. But you don't even think about the viewers who are watching because
you're at home alone.
You're in. I think it's because there's people around you, so it's like a distraction in itself. So when you're like locked in a room by yourself and you're going live to people at home, it's like just a weird, different pressure. But it's sort of good because it's a different experience.
Were you that kind of a player where you would feed off the crowd a little?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's weird when you're in a room on your own with no atmosphere at all, knowing that there's maybe 400 or 500 people watching you behind a camera. And so it's like a weird feeling. It's like different pressure completely. Yeah. But after you've done it a few times, you start to get used to it a little bit more. Yeah. And then you've got to remind yourself that, look, when you're at tournaments, you have thousands of people watching online or on television. Yeah. So you shouldn't have that mindset thinking that there's people watching behind a camera while I'm practicing on my own table. But so it is a bit of a weird feeling at first, but once you've done it a few times, you sort of get into that focus mode. But I mean, there's definitely a pressure, but it's like a different pressure.
So it's kind of like you still need the game face, but you just it's a different way of finding it.
It's weird. It's like you've still got them. You've still got that little bit of edginess. You want to win. You want to like play hard and all that stuff. So and then obviously I played a few small money games. Next week I'm playing a bigger money game, so I'm really preparing for that. But again, I'm playing against an opponent, but really I'm playing against myself. You know what I mean? So it's weird because like I cannot even see my opponent. So I'm basically just playing. I'm playing against a ghost, but actually against another player. So it's just really weird.
Yeah.
And then you've got to take into a fact that if I'm playing against another player and he's also playing the ghost, is that each person's table's different. You know what I mean? So like the guy I play next week his pockets are like a lot bigger than my pockets. You know what I mean? So
I've been thinking about that a lot too when it comes to these ghosts competitions. You know, the only thing they're really overlooking is the standard. Yeah. You know, the standard of the equipment.
Yeah, there's been that tournament there, that WSA tournament. It's like an online streaming tournament. There's a lot of players in it, but they're playing like a crazy format where you've got amateurs playing on a 7-foot table, playing 9-ball or even 8-ball, like just running 8 balls or running 9 balls. But someone like myself's got to play 15-ball on like a big table on a diamond. I mean, that's brutal. It's very difficult to beat the 15-ball ghost, where like a guy what plays pretty good can play 10-ball on a bar table. I mean, I don't have a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I spoke with Niels Fyan, and he is playing the WSA.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
he was doing. Oh, did he?
He got knocked out yesterday. Yeah, because it's so tough. Because he has to run 15 balls on a big table, but he might draw a guy who's a good amateur player, but he might be playing on the bar table, just playing 10-ball ghost. Yeah, I mean, it's a massive difference. Yeah. But Predator are running a big tournament next month. Predator are putting like a online tournament on next month, playing 10-ball.
Okay, good.
32 top players, so that's going to be good.
Great.
So there's things happening. I think there'll be more and more things happening as well because I don't see any international tournaments till October, November.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what about like the new normal and getting back to the, to the old days of just showing up to a room? What do you think? What do you think?
Obviously, you can't really put any date on it, but I mean, with the travel restrictions and the social distancing rules, I can't see any international tournament till the end of October at the earliest, because we have a rule in the UK that if we fly outside the country and then we fly back into the country, we have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some countries where you can't even allow to fly into that country. And then obviously the social distancing rules, so there's going to be no crowds. So I just don't know how it's going to work. It's going to be tough. I can't see anything till October, November at the earliest.
Yeah, my mother
and
had
I wouldn't be
to
surprised I wouldn't be shocked if the Moscone Cup doesn't go ahead, and that's not till December.
Right. I mean, and then even the World 9-ball that was supposed to be taken over by Matchroom as well, they had to postpone the 2019 championships to January 2020. But even then, like, what's going to happen? So,
and the problem you've got really
is
that
we can only cross our fingers, really.
And the problem you've got for the big tournaments in pool, the international tournaments in pool, what are televised, is that they're going to be at the back. They're going to be at the bottom of the pecking order, like the bottom of the ladder, because there's a lot of sports trying to take up all these dates, like the big sports, like golf, soccer, football. They're like taking all these dates now. So like for Matchroom to put their events on, there's going to be no gap in the mainstream. Yeah. So don't be surprised that the Moscone Cup doesn't go ahead, because December in the UK is a very, very busy month of sport. Yeah. And obviously it's going to be even more busier now. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Pretty bad timing for Matchroom, because they've been. Hold on a second. Got a technical issue. Oh, sorry about this. Hold on. All right. I inadvertently pressed a button on my keyboard, and Niels Fine's SoundCloud page started playing in the background. I don't know if you were hearing. You heard that.
I couldn't hear it. Sorry.
Anyway,
you got away with it.
Check out Nellis on SoundCloud. That's Niels Fine's DJ page. Anyway, well, let's like I was saying, it was kind of bad timing for Matchroom Sport to make all of these recent acquisitions that they did. Yeah. The U.S. Open Pool Championships and now the World 9-ball, and then you have the pandemic. It feels like another frustrating blow for the pool world, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very disappointing, because this year, especially, it looked like pool was making a comeback.
It really did. There
was a lot of good tournaments happening. There was at least 10, 15 really, really good top-tier tournaments, and we start to see some light at the end of the tunnel. Because obviously, as you know, like pool's been struggling like the last 7 or 8 years.
I know.
So this year was looking great. Everybody was excited. There were some big tournaments, big rewards there if you did well. And then we had the stuff in China as well. Obviously, that doesn't happen. So we had a lot to look forward to, and I was practicing really hard, getting ready, because I've just come back. So I sort of took a big break. Sure. I've been back playing full time about 6 months now. Yeah. So it's disappointing. But the only good thing with Matchroom is that at least they've got the finances and the resources to bounce back from it. Yeah. And so I don't see it affecting them too much, where obviously if that happened to somebody else in the industry, they'll probably go under, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We've seen a lot of brand names go under over the years, but that's, like you said, it's all part of the struggle and the evolution that pocket billiards and cue sports has been struggling with for, several decades now. Yeah. And you're right. We were doing our part on the West Coast to try to keep pool's reputation. I think that's a thing too. For many years, I feel like we've been doing doing penance, for something that we've been trying to clean up pool's reputation. And I think you did a good job several years ago with the WPS. Yeah. We did our thing on the West Coast with the West Coast Swing,
There's a lot of good people in the industry, but obviously you always get somebody trying to be the greedy or whatever. You know what I mean? There's always a few in any sport, I guess, but obviously definitely in pool because everyone wants to get a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? It's like a small piece of the pie, and instead of everyone working together, which would make the game so much better. They just want to do their own thing, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's some people like yourself and myself and other organisers. They just want to make the game better. They're doing it for the love of the game. But it's just sad when there's people out there who are just doing it to line their own pockets, and that's part of the problem. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, but also in their defense, it's also pretty evident that pool does need more money injected into it needs more money because obviously that's why you have this almost like a hoarding mentality, like I've got to get my piece of the pie now because it's such a small pie.
I understand it. I understand it. I mean I could have gone down that road as well, and I probably could steal that, just make a steady wage. You know what I mean? But I'm like an ambitious person. I want to see it do something. You know what I mean? So I like taking a gamble. And then if you, because like even if you fail, like at least you had a go. You know what I mean?
It's the American way, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you never know. One day something will happen, and the game will become really big because it's so global. It's an exciting game to watch because it's quick.
Yeah.
9-ball. It's the best game for TV.
Yeah.
And it's played all over the world. I mean, it's like fishing. It's played everybody's been fishing, or more or less. Everyone's had a game of pool, so or darts. You know what I mean? So like the potential's there. Without a doubt.
Well, good. That's those are positive words, and so
and the good thing is that there's a lot of good young players coming through. So the next generation's in good hands. I know.
And anybody that you're afraid to play?
Well, I wouldn't say afraid, but the guy I wouldn't say I like to avoid him because I look at it as a challenge. But the guy to beat right now is obviously Joshua Filler.
Yeah.
He's just on a different level to everyone else right now.
He really is. He really is. His stroke is so. I mean, he's like a machine right now.
I mean, he's just. I think he's raising the bar a little bit. He's oozes confidence. He's got all the shots. He's learning all the games as well, which is very important. He's playing one pocket, but he plays good bank pool. So he's gaining a lot of knowledge by spending a lot of time in America playing all these different games.
Yeah,
and he's actually a good kid. People don't understand him properly yet, but when you get to know him, he's a really good kid.
Well, he's young. It's, the media attention is so difficult to say the right things sometimes.
He gets some stick with how he behaves around the table, but I actually like it. We need characters in the game. We need guys who show emotion. And
a little bit of cockiness.
Yeah, we need that. We need that in the game. We need different characters like like a Minnie Hill Strickland and a Jason Shaw. You know what I mean? They're good characters.
That's one reason why I always liked Jason Shaw, because he was, he put a little fire into your under your butt.
Him and Joshua and people, and even Earl, obviously back in his day, they have you on the edge of their seat. You're not quite sure what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And you're sort of waiting, thinking, are they going to smash their cue if they miss a ball?
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I love that because when I'm watching tennis and like someone like Roger Federer smashes his racket, I think it's great. Or like Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy, they break their clubs or throw it into the lake. I love all that stuff because it shows they care and they're playing with raw emotion.
Yeah, John McEnroe.
Yeah, John McEnroe and all them guys.
He was a pioneer of showboating.
Yeah, but it's just passion and just it's like an out-of-body experience sometimes, and you regret it after you've done it. But for me, looking for entertainment, I love it.
Yeah.
Where if everybody were the same and they were boring and methodical, I mean, I wouldn't be able to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Darren, it's been great checking in with you, and it's nice to know that you're not just a world champion, a gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist. You're also a pool fan, and that's really cool too. And I do want to wish you the best of luck with the office and with the coaching.
Yep.
And you know, if there's anybody that wants to get some lessons, what do we do?
Yeah, just they can message me on Facebook, or they can email me at dynamitedaz8@gmail.com.
Dynamite-8. Okay.
Yeah, the number 8 at gmail.com, or just contact me through YouTube, Facebook. Darren Dynamite Appleton's my fan page, and obviously my personal page, but probably best through the fan page, because sometimes if I'm not friends with them on my personal page, it goes into like a different box. So
sure.
Sometimes you don't see it for a while. So yeah, just probably email or through my Facebook fan page.
Okay. Like the Darren Appleton official.
Yeah, Darren Dynamite Appleton official. Yeah,
Darren Dynamite Appleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool, Darren. It's been great talking to you, and you know, I wish you the best luck in the future. Good luck with the online tournaments, and I wish you the best. You know, transition coming back into the regular.
Yep.
You know, back into the mainstream of pool when pool starts to become a public thing again.
Yeah.
And,
thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I hope to see you. I know maybe you don't like to play bar table tournaments, but I miss seeing you in Las Vegas at the Andy Mercer tournaments there. I think.
Yeah, it's just always a dates. I mean, I do actually like that tournament because it's a good little tournament, and it's like a weekend away, let's say, and we had a lot of fun there. So I do plan on playing that tournament again, just because it's in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and it's fun, but obviously it's just the dates and everything else. But I'll definitely be back there.
I really would love to see you come up there and win one of those.
Yeah, I've got to the final twice, so yeah, I'm due.
I mean, it doesn't get any better being in the finals and having Jimmy Mattia do all the commentary for you.
Yeah, what a character. And it doesn't get any better than having a beer with him at the bar afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want drama, you got it right there.
He's one of my favorite people in the industry, in the pool world. I just love his stories, the way he speaks. He's a character.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's nominated too for the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, he'll probably get my vote.
Good. All right. Well, great. Thanks a lot, Darren.
Right, cheers, Daniel.
And, don't be a stranger. Yes, I look forward to seeing you again, buddy. All right, take care.
Mate.
Thanks.
See you later.